we're talking party politics. The ruling All Progressives Congress has commenced screening of the 16 aspirants jostling for its ticket for the November 16 governorship election in Ondo State. The screening took place at the APC National Secretariat in Abuja, where the screening committee and the screening appeals committee were inaugurated earlier in the day. So the big question is, who does the cap fit come 20th April when the party conducts its primaries to elect the governorship candidate? One of the aspirants screened today, Olugbenga Edema, joins me live from our Abuja studio. Mr. Edema, thank you for joining us on the program this evening. You were number 4 on the schedule of aspirants' appearance at the screening today. How did it go?
Well, thank you for having me here and giving me the opportunity to also talk to our people. The interview went well, the screening went well, and I'm sure the people did their job professionally. So I have no doubt in my mind that the outcome will be fine.
Do you want to tell us what questions were asked?
Usually I don't know what others were asked, but I know that I was asked, one, what I will do differently for my people in Ondo State. And thank God I had already put this one in a codified form in my manifesto. And I beat my chest to say I'm the only of the aspirants who have done so, who have put all I think I want to do for the people of Ondo State in one single document. So it was far easier for me to distribute the document amongst the panelists and to also tell them about my own antecedent, how I joined party politics in 1990, 1991, 92, how I participated as a delegate to the SDP Just Convention in 1993, where we elected Basharon MK Abiola as the candidate of the party, what struggle I did, I participated in the June 12 crisis until Sonny Abacha drove us away in November 17, 1993, how I came back again in 1999, joined PDP, from PDP to Labour Party, up to the time I joined APC in 2014 when the party was at its formation stage, and as a sitting member of the Ondo State House of Assembly at that time. And also that I was, apart from being a member of the Ondo State House of Assembly, I was also the chairman of OSOPADEC and later a member of the NDDC board. So they asked me and I also told them what I wanted to do differently, which already is coded in my manifesto.
I asked for the questions, but you gave me the answers you gave. It's a smart way to campaign, but it's not campaign time yet. So do you think that...
You asked me what had transpired. What transpired? So I'm only reporting what transpired at the panel, before the panel.
Absolutely. I concur that it's a smart way to answer the question, no doubt. But do you think the screening has anything to do with pruning down the number?
Prior to this time, there was a vetting or document vetting committee. And I'm sure they have looked at all our documents and they are convinced that we are all eminently qualified to contest. So I don't see what the screening committee would do differently. So I'm convinced that they are relying on the information or the report that will have been given to them by the screening or the vetting committee of the party.
But at 16, do you think the number of aspirants is on the high side?
No. You see, in 2016 or thereabout, when the late Governor Akeredolu emerged as the candidate of the party, I'm sure they had more than 20-something aspirants. Even in our local government alone, they have more than 7 aspirants, yet he still emerged among the lot. So the more the merrier, because sometimes too, the people must be given the opportunity of being able to assess the aspirants and find which one has the best pedigree and means well for the people. It's like a beauty contest or a pageant. If you don't participate, if you don't obtain form, you will only have to choose from among the lots. So who knows? If we are not as much as this, the people will not have the option of choice. So I think it's good enough for the competition and for our polity.
Let me take you back to the clearance exercise which preceded the screening today. The vetting committee did say that Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa did not forge his WAEC certificate as you earlier alleged. How do you react to this?
Maybe I should put the facts clear. I did not allege that he forged his WAEC certificate. I said the police did a report, and in that report, we were told by the police report that the school, Ikosi High School, was founded in 1980. And that in his record, he said he did his May June WAEC in that same school in 1982. And that the school, through the police report, said that their 4 set of graduates was done in 1985, that we should investigate whether it was possible for somebody who was or a school that was established in 1980 could do a May-June exam in 1982, knowing fully well that you cannot sit for a May-June exam except you are sponsored by a school that has been accredited by WAEC. And the screening committee that they have investigated that, they came out with their findings. So I'm not in a position to, I'm not a police that wrote the report. I always said it stands for reason that if a school was established in 1980, there's no way somebody will have been sponsored to do WAEC in that school in 1982, knowing fully well that it's not an external exam. And not be an external exam, you must be accredited, the school must be accredited to fit candidate. That we should investigate that area. And it was only an advisory. And what I mean by advisory is that we had a similar experience in Bayelsa in 2019. So it would be sad if all of us put all our eggs, all our efforts in that basket, knowing fully well that if this basket falls, all the eggs will get broken. So, and since the party has said they have found something contrary, there's nothing I can do.
The interesting thing about this case that makes it quite different from the Bayelsa situation is that Governor Aiyetiwa contested as deputy governor with former Governor Akeredolu, and these issues weren't raised. But interestingly, the committee made the finding look so easy that the verification was as simple as checking online from the website of the West African Examination Council. Did you do that yourself?
Well, I do not see much of difference because the senator, who was the deputy governorship elect at that time, was also a sitting senator who had used the same set of documents to contest Senate. So the fact that it was not brought to the fore in 2020 when the Governor Aiyetiwa contested could not have said it couldn't have had some issues. So there's no difference. But again, I don't want us to dwell into it because one, I have not done that, but I'm only relying on the report of a police, which to me, being a certified true copy of police report, is sacrosanct, unless and until it's set aside by a court or he himself goes to court to say, set it aside. In law, that's a prima facie evidence of indictment. And unless it is set aside, it remains so.
Are you concerned about how this will affect your relationship with the governor, considering that you're both from the same place?
Well, I do not think it will, because what I have just done is to draw an advisory to the party. I was asked the same question this afternoon. I told them they should go to the book of Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 1 to 7, specifically verse 7 and 6. And with your kind permission, I can read if you don't mind.
Go ahead, please. And
this is what Ezekiel says. In Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 7, it says, Son of man, I have made you a watchman for the people of Israel, so hear the word I speak and give them warning from me. And in chapter 6, it says, But if the watchman sees the sword coming and does not blow the trumpet to warn the people, and the sword comes and takes someone's life, that person's life will be taken because of their sin. But I will hold the watchman accountable for their blood. So I have done my own bit to bring an adversary before the party. And they have also found out by their own reckoning that what I said was not true. So I have done my bit. It has nothing to do with individual persons. And I indicated that it's not born out of animosity, but for my love for the party and for my people. Because God forbid, in the unlikely event that he merges with these baggages, then we have all lost. So we will have, our fate will be like the fate of Bayelsa, which will be very sad. That was my concern. And I have raised it like a watchman. So I am vindicated. I'm exonerated. It has moved to the bar court or to the court of the party. And they have said they have investigated the matter and they have their findings. So God sent me to give this warning, which I have given. So their blood will no longer be on my neck. Thank you. You have done the work of the Lord. In addition to being an aspirant, you've also taken up the status of a watchman. We're going to talk more about your chances of winning the primaries in a short while. Let's take a break, and we'll be back with more. Stay with us, everyone. Edema is one of the 16 aspirants jostling for the APC ticket in the Ondo State governorship election. I had a guest yesterday who mentioned that he may be number 17 because he got his form on the 2 extra days given to get that particular form. We'll see how that play out in the coming days. Mr. Edema, thank you for staying the course on the program. The challenge
with what some have identified as a challenge with this primary election, particularly when you consider the numbers, is that quite a number of the aspirants at a point were on Akite's side, and they say this is a fallout of what transpired between the late governor and his deputy last year. The challenge with that is that you seem to now be jostling for the same votes, amongst the same constituency. Does that bother you when you look at the names on the list? Former commissioners, sitting senators, and these are people who have picked up the same issues with the incumbent governor at the time.
Well, thank you so much. I am not bothered. Like I told you some time ago when I appeared on this program, that what the direct primary has done is to take power back to the people. You see, it's different from when you have delegate election, where some people will amass power or give themselves some influence. They either run and hide in hotels or somewhere, or because they want to collect money. The people now has the power, because every card-carrying member of the party will vote on the 20th of April 2024. The implication therefore is that the people are not going to be bought. They are going to vote according to their conscience. There are people who we have fraternized with over the years. And mind you, I told you that when I joined SDP in 1990 or thereabout, it was this kind of thing we were doing. Primaries there to the people at the grassroots. In fact, before you can become anything, you must come through the option A4 system by taking your cue or your mandate from the people from your ward or your polling unit. We are back to it. So we are veterans in this game. It's not about I'm a senator now or or what I hold. If it's length of service we are talking about, I will be their senior. And I have not been out of politics ever since then. And I have not stagnated. I moved from being a member of the House of Assembly. When I decided I wanted to be contesting election, I became a member of the Ondo State House of Assembly. I was the chairman of Osopadec, a member of NDDs. I never stagnated at all. So I have no fear in my mind that I will emerge by the grace of God come 20th of April 2024. So I fear no one.
Are you saying categorically that direct primary cannot be influenced by money politics?
Money alone will not be able to do it, because the people also know the people that will do them well. They have read my manifesto. We have fraternized over the years. They can trust me. So what the people will be looking out for now is governor they can trust. When the issue of integrity comes in, they are likely going to have some cue. They will wonder if you have lied to us as an aspirant or as a governor or as a senator or as people who had held one political position in time past. They won't trust you. This is about trust. And I'm sure if people trust me, they know I will not lie to them. And they know I have the capacity to deliver because I have done it in time past.
Talk to us about how much faith you have in the committees running this election and their capacity to deliver on the promise of free and fair voting during the primary, vis-a-vis the initial challenge your party had during the primary election in Edo State.
Well, I wasn't involved in what transpired in Ondo State. I only read it in the newspaper. But from what I've seen so far, I have not seen anything to show that the leadership of the party or the committees will not be fair. And mind you, we are talking about grassroots primary. In my ward, for instance, my ward 2, bulk of the people that will conduct the primary will be people who are within the neighborhood. The people coming from Abuja will not come and vote or conduct the primary. They only come with documents, give it to people who are the grassroots for them to go and conduct the primaries in their various wards and return the results. So it's about who is much more popular or more acceptable to the people of Ondo State. And that I am he.
So the party has asked all aspirants to extend a hand of fellowship, or call it felicitation, to whoever emerges as the party's candidate, as was done in Edo State. Is that something you subscribe to?
Why not? Once I emerge as the candidate of the party, I won't be able to carry the mandate alone. The reason, all the other 15 people will have a few persons who are also their supporters. And they believe in this party too. It's not a crime for their candidates to have contested. But once I emerge, it behoves me to be able to say, yes, we have to work together as a team. And for us to work together as a team, we all have to sit down together and look at it. Mind you, like I told you earlier, a single governor can create more than 2,000 direct political jobs. So will I say all these 2,000 political jobs will be to my own supporters alone? It has to be to every member of the party who is competent and capable. And there must also be geographical spread. So I see a situation where after the 20th of April, we all have to come together as a team, and that is extending hand of fellowship. I already know from experience that you cannot go into a battle like this divided. You have to go to that battle against PDP or other opposition parties as a team. And for us to be as a team, we have to work together. Again, I also want to implore the leadership of the party to also midwife it, to syndicate it. Because some people will still be agitating. They will still be saying, oh, you can't come into a meeting, you are not competent. So, but I hope the leadership of the party also knows that it's not possible for one man to go to the election, or the house to the party to go to the election divided. So it's not a difficult thing for us to achieve.
I understand your optimism when you say when I emerge, but the scenario of this question is painting a scenario where you don't emerge. Honorable Edema, can you hear me?
Myself don't emerge.
No.
You said suppose I don't emerge.
I'm saying the appeal of the party is actually making reference to situations where you don't emerge. And that's what the question is about. For instance,
if I don't emerge, I abide by the decision of the party, absolutely. In the unlikely event that I don't emerge, I abide by the decision of the party, absolutely. Nobody is above the party. The party is supreme.
You mean even if the governor emerges?
I don't have a choice. It doesn't matter who emerges. Once it's from a fair primary, and the party believes that that is the candidate they want to pick, because the party can only pick candidate through any of the four options we have: affirmation, consensus, direct primaries, or indirect primaries. So the party leadership will come into it, and now the party leadership says we want direct primaries. There will still be a direct primary. There could be rancors out of it, but the party leadership is in a position to solve this rancor. So in the unlikely event that somebody else emerges outside of Olugbenga Edema, I won't have a choice but to abide by the decision of the party.
You know, the concern for watchers of events in Ondo, particularly for the 16 or rather 15 aspirants, is the fact that you are contesting against an incumbent governor. Is that something you consider an Herculean task to be able to get the ticket before him?
I've told you the beauty of a direct primary is that it's a function of the general people voting, and whether they trust you as an aspirant or to be the candidate of the party or to be the next governor. I have seen cases of where incumbent governors lose election. In Anambra State, Mbadiju was the incumbent in PDP. He was not given a second-term ticket. I've seen a situation in Lagos State. Ambode was the incumbent governor. He lost the primary. So there's nothing new about an incumbent losing the primary. We have done our homework, and we are sure that we have the confidence of the people to be able to deliver and to win come 20th of April 2024. So I have no fear in my mind. So it's not a thing I contemplate that I will lose.
The governor have now spent about 80 days in office, if my counting is right. What's your opinion about his performance?
Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to assess him. And the reason is that before you can say you want to assess somebody, there must be a timeline. 80 days for me is too short to determine whether the man is doing well. He's just assembling his team, for instance. In fact, only this morning, I understand he inaugurated some new commissioners. So can he do the job alone? He can't. So he's just assembling his team. So let us give him time. 6 months line down the line, we can begin to assess whether he's doing well or not.
But he was deputy governor all this while. He can't be assessed by that too?
A deputy governor is in the shadow. So you can't assess a deputy governor. Only the people can determine whether a deputy governor is doing well. It's his principal. Unfortunately, that principal is no longer allowed to be able to say he did well or did not do well. And there are parameters by which you also assess deputy governors in this climb. One, they talk about loyalty. So the capacity to do certain things are not brought to the fore. So was he loyal to his principal? Only his principal can know whether he was loyal or not. So I'm not in a position to assess him using all the parameters that it could be used. But as a sitting governor, we can use different parameters now. But it's still too short to do so because he's just assembling his team. So let's give him 3 more months ahead and we begin to know, okay, in 6 months, this is what he ought to have achieved. Has he achieved it? Yes or no? Then I'll be able to assess.
You probably don't think he was loyal as deputy governor, Mr. Edema.
I'm not in a position to know, sir, because he didn't work with me.
All right. Olugbenga Edema, APC aspirant for the Ondo State governorship election. Thank you so much for talking to us, and we wish you all the best.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much.